Hi everyone, welcome back to the channel. We appreciate you guys watching. We got a pretty good topic today, or at least I think so. It's going to be in the prepper, how to start a prepper group. And this is something that came around because I was watching Matt from Resist the Tyranny, and he was talking about responsibilities inside the prepper group, leadership, and who does what, and all that good stuff. So I'm going to put his channel down below, so make sure you go and check him out. I got the Alabama Owens here with me as the last couple of shows, so we definitely appreciate you coming and stopping by and doing this video with me, man. You want to do a quick intro?
Sure. I'm the Alabama Owens, and I make YouTube videos. That's my standard, isn't it? Um, Pretty much guns, gear, prepping, that type of thing. Um, if you're into videos like JH6 makes, then you're probably gonna like my channel because I'm basically in the same topic as him. So go on over and check out the Alabama Owens channel.
Cool. Definitely, we're gonna put the links down below as as always. There we go. One of you guys is probably gonna ask me why I'm not wearing my hat. I got it right here. I just got a new haircut, so I'm enjoying my new haircut. All right, so there we go. Now that we got that out of the way, prepping is something that we've been talking about, something that I got into it right after I left the military, and something that I think is very critical. A lot of people got to start prepping, and something that I said about a million times is that protection is your responsibility. It's not the government. So stop waiting for the police to come and protect you, and stop waiting for FEMA to come and provide aid. I mean, they definitely going to do that at one point, but it's not going to be probably at the moment that you need it. So you need to prepare to sustain yourself for maybe those couple of weeks before FEMA is going to show up, or those 10 minutes before the police is going to show up on scene. You need to have some type of plan. A lot of guys think it's going to be, you need to prepare for 6 years. You don't. I mean, eventually you're going to get to that point, but you need to start doing preparations like, the basic preparation. Will you agree with that, Alabama Owens?
Oh, definitely. You want to, that's so many people when they get into prepping, they get overwhelmed because, they want to be prepped for 2 years or 3 years, but, right off the bat, you want to be prepped at least as long as you think it's going to take for FEMA to get there. Look at Hurricane Katrina. You had 2-3 weeks before people were in there actually delivering aid to the people, so you at least got to make it that long. And then depending on the situation, as you develop as a prepper, you're probably going to decide at some point, like I did, like Jarhead6 did, that you're going to go a little further, because depending on the situation, you may not want FEMA's help. You may want to be trying to stay under the radar and keep the government out of your business.
Yeah, that's actually a very good point that I don't even think I haven't talked about that. Maybe you just don't want their help, because their help is going to be based on whatever is good for them, like in the
Right.
Marine Corps. You're there to do whatever the Marine Corps wants, not what you want. So in many cases, you may not want to have that assistant from those groups. So that's definitely a very good point. Now, what do you think some of the other things that you kind of think why we need to prep, basic aspects that you think?
Well, I've said it before. Being in North Alabama, it's been 3 years ago now. We had the tornadoes come through in April, and the entire northern Alabama, southern Tennessee region was out of power for at the least a week, and at the most 2 to 3 weeks. And that was an eye opener for me. That was when I started prepping. And there's just so many situations that could cause some reason that you need to be prepared, and that you may not be able to go to the grocery store. You may not be able to, even if you can get out in your car and get out somewhere, there may not be electricity to run the gas pumps. There may not be electricity to run the cash registers at the grocery store. There's just so many reasons that we as the leaders of our families should be ready to be prepared for really any possible scenario.
Yeah. And I got to tell you too, when you start doing some type of preparation, you have that feeling that you feel good about it. You know what I'm saying? And
Yeah.
and I was actually talking to my wife about this the other day because we were walking and some people were coming around and this and that and somebody a regular people could have been pretty scary. This guy's kind of look like kind of scary or whatever. They may do something. But I got a gun on me. She has a gun on her. and
Right.
I'm not want to. I don't want to be like I'm cocky or I'm like a super ninja or anything. But it just feels good to know that if something happened, I have a choice. My
Right.
choice is not to allow someone to victimize me and take away my stuff and possibly kill me or do something bad to my wife. I got a choice. I got a way to do something about it to defend myself versus just like come here and take it
Right.
and allow we're pretty much in the same page when it comes to that. But all right, so to get back in topic, we were talking about, and this is something that Matt from Resist the Tyranny was talking about this as well, as how important it is to start a prepper group, and I think it's critical. I think this is probably going to be like kind of like more advanced into the guys already been prepping for a while. Pretty much people are
Right.
going to start doing basic preparation, and eventually they're going to get into this portion of a preparation because we got to face it, guy. We cannot do it alone. It's just impossible.
Well, and I think you're dead on right there because I can speak from personal experience. As I began preparing for myself and my family, I actually started thinking outside of just our little realm. What about my neighbor that is my good friend, and it is he thinking the same way that I am? Are we going to be on the same page? My buddy that's 2 miles away. Um, I know he's like-minded. I know that he shares the same values and belief system that I do. If something were to happen, is there some way that we can help each other out? And you know, I see people that are uh, on different forums and things that are looking for a prepper group, and I don't know. I kind of have issue with that because I think a prepper group is something that kind of grows organically, that it's something that just kind of happens. Because, to be honest with you, my group grew from just talking to friends and family about, what are we going to do if something happens.
Yeah. So yeah, definitely. And you talked about having the same belief. How important do you think that is to actually have the same belief? And just before, we get attacked every now and then because we got trolls, and we love the trolls. Thanks a lot for your penny. We
Hey, hey,
appreciate it.
thanks.
So
Thumbs up or thumbs down, it
yeah,
helps.
is gonna rank the video higher. But the point is that people, this is a free country. You can believe in whatever you want. I will go to war to defend your freedom and to defend the fact that you want to believe whatever you want to believe, and that is good. The problem comes around when people try to force other people's belief on other people's. Like you don't have to be a Christian if you don't want to. This is a free country. You could be whatever you
Right,
want. And it goes both ways. But how important is to have that same belief? For us will be like me. It's important for the people that I hang around with to have that same belief and same love of God because that's how we make decisions. My
right,
decisions are very Bible based decisions. And we ask that question all the time. What would Jesus do? That's a very
right.
powerful, question. You know what I'm saying, or statement. So again, you may not be a Christian. You may be like straight up you don't believe in God. So if you start a prepper group with somebody like me, we're probably gonna have a lot of disagreements because I have a different belief system. So I think
Right.
it's critical to have that share that belief system in a way. What would you say about that, Alabama Owens?
I agree. And actually, I've got some really good friends that are not believers, but and a few of them are actually in or about the group, but really on a morality basis, on a large scale basis, they share the same values and life decisions that I do myself. So yes, I think it makes it easier. Just like in any relationship, it makes it easier if you share the same belief system. But at least being in the ballpark, to me, in a prepper group is going to be very important, because you take a strict Christian and put them with an atheist, and there's going to be conflicts. There's going to be disagreements on just how the group as a whole functions. So to me, that is a very important aspect.
Yeah, and definitely, if zombies come, like people say that, and you find yourself in a situation where you got all these people around, you start a team. I mean, some of these aspects won't be a topic of conversation as much
Right,
because you just got stuck with these guys. But if you're actually starting to prep and starting to have that group, you need to take advantage of all the situations. You need to to put all these things in place and say, okay, who do I want to pick? Because this is part of your
right,
preparation. You have the opportunity to prepare. If you don't have that
right,
opportunity, you stuck to whoever. But if you have the opportunity and you have the benefits or privilege, whatever you want to call it, of being able to pick the right people that you want, I mean, that's just powerful. You know,
oh yeah, definitely,
you know,
definitely. And you've got the ability, and most of us in our lives, we interact with people that have different walks of life, different occupations, uh, you know and you're gonna find people that you mesh with, that you just work well with, that are going to be from different backgrounds and different walks of life, and that's where the strength comes from in the numbers, because you're going to need different roles being
yeah,
played in the group.
yeah. And here now jumping into like actually forming a group. Um, I like what you said because everyone is not perfect. You're gonna have guys that do something better than other guys. I mean, that's just how
Right,
it is. Like I mean, I went in hundreds of patrols, and you have that guy that was excellent in communication. I mean, that guy knew everything about communication. He just knew how to do it. If your radios broke down, that guy will fix the radio. And then you have the guy that was excellent on trucks. The guy that if your truck went down, he knew how to fix it. And
right,
that was the guy. And then you had the perfect machine gunner. The guy that was in that machine gun, and he could shoot that gun very very well. So as a leader, you have to be able to know your guys and put them in the best place to utilize into the full potential. So that's some of the things that you got to identify in this prepper group. Like what people are bringing into the table. Like
right,
now definitely you're gonna get stuck with some guys. Like you're not gonna kick your mom. You know what I'm saying? She's probably
right,
old and she's a really nice lady, but she's old and she probably can't do too much other than cook good and
right.
and probably ask you what are we doing now. But you can't kick her out. You have to deal with her, and
Right,
but you never know. Maybe she has something so simple as she's a good listener, and
right,
in a really bad survival situation, just having a person that comfort other people. Man, that's powerful to have a stressful situation. Having that lady there that
right.
she's so nice that she calms down people, she helps people, she listens to people's problems. I mean, if you're not mentally right in the fight, you're gonna go down.
Right.
So
Well, and that's something, you bring up a great point, because that's something that people don't think about. Okay, everybody wants a communications officer, they want a patrol lead, they want the group leader, they want medical, but everybody can bring something to the table.
mhm,
Some little old grandma can bring something to the table. Hey, my 13-year-old daughter is she can sew anything.
yeah, yeah. Good
Am I
point.
going to take her on patrol? No, she's not going to go on patrol. But if we've got clothes that need mending or anything like that, she's on top of it.
Yeah, yeah. Excellent point, man. It's just like my little dog. I mean, if somebody breaks into the house,
Ooh,
she won't make it. But I tell you what, she barks so much that she's gonna give me those 6 to 10 seconds that I need to wake up and grab my Glock, and that's all I
exactly.
need. So I mean, those 6 to 10 seconds are extremely critical because it's gonna allow me to get ready for the fight. But yeah, good point on that. A lot of people concentrate on, I want a doctor, I want a nurse, I want a
Right.
mechanic, I want a dude that knows everything about guns. But everyone could be utilized in some kind of way, just like you talked about your daughter. That's actually a very good point. But you definitely want key players. You definitely want guys
Oh yeah.
that have some great skills. And what do you think some skills that we should be looking into it when we make those decisions?
Oh well, of course, it all depends on the situation, but that there's just certain ones that just come out, and no matter what the scenario, no matter what you dream up, zombie apocalypse, hurricane, tornado, whatever, EMP, you're always going to want somebody that is medically trained. It's not necessarily going to be a doctor, but an EMT, somebody that works with the fire department, something like that, that has some medical training, that has something beyond. Personally, my medical training is limited to the first aid merit badge in the Boy Scouts. So yeah, that'll get me out in the field, but anything serious, I don't have the training for. So my loose prepper group has a firefighter, volunteer firefighter in it. So he's got the medical training. He has the ability to go in and do those things medically. To me, that's very high on the priority list, because no matter what scenario you dream up, medicine is probably going to be something that you want to have covered.
Yeah, definitely. And again, we said this all the time, but we're gonna say it again. Um, we talking about these things to make people think about it. By no means this is the way to go. If you listen to this video, we're gonna cover everything. Because we are not. We're gonna cover some aspects. We're gonna talk about some things. A lot of you guys are gonna put comments below, which is excellent because add up more to the discussion. But that's one of the good things about having the team. Like everyone could bring an opinion and everyone can bring an input. And me as a staff NCO, as a staff sergeant in the Marine Corps, I was never surprised when I heard one of my young Marines, Lance Corporal, Private First Class, bringing some great ideas. I mean, definitely they brought some stupid ideas as well. A lot of times, I mean, we're not gonna lie, some of the ideas were like out there, but a lot of times they brought some great ideas as well. So
Right.
again, people just talking about it, it makes you think, how are we going to do this? Listening to people, it definitely makes you think. So don't think as you watch this video, me and the Alabama Owens, we're gonna teach you everything on how to start a prepper group. We just want you to think some things, like we want you to start thinking. We want you to start saying, okay, maybe I need to think about this. Maybe we need to talk about this. Maybe I need to associate myself with this kind of people.
Right.
That's pretty much the point of the video.
Well, and you bring up a good point as far as leadership goes. I would wager to guess that most of us who are preppers, we're generally leaders in our homes. A lot of times we're leaders in our jobs, and I think a lot of people are going to have the tendency to assume that they're going to be the leader in the prepper group. And I don't necessarily think that that's a safe assumption, because everybody else is prepping may be thinking the same thing.
Yeah.
So you need to, when you're thinking about your prepper group, you may not be the natural leader in that group. Your skills may be better utilized somewhere else.
Yeah.
Yes, in my family, in my job, I'm a leader, but in my prepper group, communications officer is probably my strong suit. That's probably where I need to be.
Yeah, and that's an excellent point. And I think people need to like check themselves and kind of like always seek self improvement, you know. And I got to tell you, one of the questions that I know Matt was talking about was about being a leader. And I got to tell you guys, once in my side, once it was always a privilege to be able to lead Marines. That was just an honor. But to tell you the truth, a good leader doesn't have people working for him. He worked for them. Like a
Right,
lot of times people would tell me, "Oh, I got 30 Marines with me. They work for me." But in all reality, they didn't work for me. I worked for
right,
them
right,
because always like trying to make them better, always trying to fix any other issues. If they had an issue with, or if they had some type of vulnerability, a good leader should help them out to fix that vulnerability. Maybe a specific guy doesn't know much about guns. Maybe we're teaching them about guns. Maybe we're teaching these people about communication, or maybe a good leader is just setting up ways for that person to seek better training. Like, I don't
right,
know everything about radios, but I tell you what, I'm gonna listen to you, and I'm gonna bring my guys to also listen to you, so we could learn about radios.
right.
So being a leader is not an easy task. You know
No,
what I'm saying? People think it's cool. It's not. It's a lot of
well,
responsibility.
and I fear that a lot of guys who are into prepping, see the end of the world as we know it, the SHTF scenario, as their chance to shine, and that's not what it's about. That's not why if that's why you're prepping for the wrong reasons.
Yeah.
You should be prepping for your family, for yourself, to be able to survive whatever scenario it is that you're looking at. And uh, just the idea of you taking power and being in control is not where you should be coming with is not where you should be coming from, in my opinion.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, and it goes back to, it takes a long time to become a good leader, and it's just going to be something that you're going to get better as it goes with time. But one thing when it comes down to the leader too, we're talking about a prepper group. So at this point, when you're setting up as a prepper group, you did all the preparation, and now you actually meet up as a group, because of whatever situation, it's probably not going to be something nice. You know what I'm
Right,
saying? We're talking about a survival situation. We're talking about, maybe if it's a hurricane or something like that, it's different. But if we're talking about a really bad situation, there's going to be some hard decisions that are going to be made. And as much as we prepare for, you're never going to get fully prepared to make those decisions. I mean, if we're talking about survival situation, a leader could make the decision between somebody dying and somebody not dying. um, as simple as that. You know what I'm saying?
exactly.
If your compound gets attacked, a leader may say, hey, we need to engage, or we don't need to engage, or whatever. So don't think it's gonna be some easy decisions. There may be some decisions
Right,
that will haunt you the rest of your life. You know what I'm saying? Um, I know for Marines, the hardest thing is when some of your Marines die, and
right,
and, and that's something that you will deal with a lot. I got one of the Marines that I train with, and I train him. I told him so many different things, and he got killed in Afghanistan, and it wasn't under my command, but previously I trained him, and it's one of those things that would remind you, you made this decision, or you didn't, or maybe you could have done something better to be a
right,
better leader. I mean, it's not an easy task, people. It's not like a lot of people think it's cool. I'm the leader, so I'm the cool dude,
right,
and,
right.
and it's not going to be as easy.
Well, and okay, admit it. Most of us watch The Walking Dead. Um, you know,
Uh, Rick is a
I,
cool guy, though.
now Rick is a leader though.
Yeah,
Herschel was a leader.
yeah,
But you look at and I'm not gonna be able to call his name now. The governor.
yeah,
The governor is what most of these. I'm gonna tick some people off here, but most of these guys that are living in mom's basement waiting for the end of the world so that they can become a leader, they're
Hmm.
going to be a governor. They're going to be somebody who is. They may lead some people, but they're going to be making poor decisions, and they're going to be the bad guy.
Yeah. Well, that goes back to like you see, Rick actually pushed his group and his family and his people before him. You know,
Exactly.
he's a humble guy, and the other guy was just seeking his own benefits.
Right.
So that's probably one of the ways to like uh, put that out there. But what other, I mean, what other responsibilities do you think we should be looking up in this group? All of the, we got a leader. I would definitely recommend to have some type of structure.
Yes. Definitely.
Like you said, communication officer, maybe logistics officers, maybe the guy that security officer. So we got
Right.
all these different sections that are going to report to either the main leader or maybe a detachment. So you have your leader up here, you have two
Right.
detachments, and I mean there has to be some type of structure because let's face it, one guy can't do everything. You know what I'm saying? Um,
Well, and you may even have instead of one centralized leader, you might have a board, a group that is making the decisions for the group. A subset of the group that is actually, the inner circle that is making the decisions for the group that everybody reports to. But things like a mechanic, somebody that's just handy that can fix things and make things work. Uh, Depending on the situation, could be absolutely invaluable.
yeah, yeah. I like the idea that you just said about the board as well because you know that takes away from one guy making decisions and it
Right.
puts it more into like everyone. So I mean that's again another really good idea out there for people to discuss on their own groups. You know what I'm saying? uh we don't want to have some type of dictator like one guy. I mean
Exactly.
we're seeing what Obama is doing. So,
Well, you want to make sure that, and one man, what's the old saying? Power corrupts. Absolute power corrupts absolutely.
yeah,
So you do want to have checks and balances. We have it in our own system of government. You want to make sure that what is being done for the group is what's best for the group.
yeah, yeah. No, definitely, definitely. And like I said, a good leader of the group will always seek self improvement. Will always seek guidance.
Right.
Um, if you got a guy that knows it all and wants to do it his way and his way is the only way, most likely he's not really good to be leading anything.
Right.
You always need to have one of those guys that's always asking for guidance. I mean, I that's one of the first things that I did always. Hey, what do you guys think about this? Especially
Right.
some of the senior guy, some of the guys below me. What do you guys think about this? Let's talk about this. Let's come out with a good course of action. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
So, all right. So we got get my notes. All right. So we got a pretty much in this group how to start a prepper group. We need to have guys that are in a pretty common belief. You agree? So
Roger.
we're good on that.
100%.
Yeah. Not only and I would say not only religious belief, but also morally. Uh,
Yes.
you know what I'm saying? You may not believe in God, but you may have some moral belief that you have, and if you're talking to somebody else that have different moral belief, then you're gonna have issues.
Right.
So that's very important. You want to have
Dude, you just completely froze up on me.
having security is going to be important. So you need to have one guy that knows what he's doing, um, and responsibilities. You're going to have logistics officers, communication officers. You could have, of course, your leader. You could have a board. You could have some type of structure. Um, I think that's good stuff. Anything else you think there, Alabama?
Well, actually, since we talked about this before, I was looking at some different topics, some different forums and web pages that I follow on this topic, and one of them that a lot of people were discussing was, where do you meet your prepper group? And to me, honestly, if you're if you're trying to figure out strangers to add to your prepper group, I think you're going about it wrong. I think that you should be trying to get people that you know who they are, that you know you can trust them, that you know that they're good people, and maybe they're not preppers. Maybe you're convincing them to be a prepper to join your group. Um, that's just my personal opinion. What do you think about that?
No, I completely agree. And I gotta tell you, my group has a lot of people in my family. And I mean, it is I mean, we're talking about a survival situation. Who can you depend your life on? I mean,
Right,
this may be the difference between dying and not dying. You have to be able to trust those people. You have to be able to know that that guy is covering your six, because
right,
a mass riot. You may go and defend your business, or you may be defending your house, just like we saw in Ferguson, and you may have your family, maybe mine, yours, 3, 4 guys family inside the house, and you may have the guys out there defending that property, and if you don't trust your life to your buddy covering your six, you may get killed.
right,
So you just can't pick up random people from the street, people. I
right.
mean, it doesn't work that way. You know
Well,
what I mean?
actually, I've even seen it. There is a website, findapreppergroup.com or something like that, where you actually input your city and state, and it tries to link you up with other preppers in your area. And I'm sorry that I'm not doing it that way.
Hmm.
I'm gonna be going with people that I know, people that I trust, that I put my trust in everyday life. Because if I can't trust you in everyday life, there's no way I'm going to trust you in a survival situation.
Yeah. Well, now think about this. Do we want to have a large prepper group, or do we want to have kind of small? That's
Well, and that's kind of something that uh, my large group has discussed. Maybe not as a whole group, but individually amongst us. Um, it depends on the scenario. It depends on what the situation is. To me personally, there are scenarios when we need to get every able body that we have, that we trust, that we need to get us all in one central location. There's scenarios where it may be better for us to be in smaller groups.
yeah.
um, I would, off the top of my head, people that I would say were in my prepper group, I would say 35 for the larger group. But if it were a situation where we needed to drop down to smaller numbers, I would get down to the lower teens.
Yeah. I think it's important to, and I talked about this in home defense as well. I think it's important to have some type of standard operation procedure, and a lot of guys don't write this down, but I think it's important to actually sit down and write it down. So first of all, everybody could read it, and everybody knows what to do, how to do it, and all that stuff. But like having that structure, you could have either a big group, or you could have individual groups at different locations,
Right,
based on, what I'm saying, based on the fact of that situation. But if something large occur, then you guys could come together at one location. For instance, if Ferguson happened, because it just happened, and it's just a city, maybe a couple of guys are in different houses, a smaller group. But if the
right,
whole state goes into hell, and
exactly.
maybe now that 10 or 3 families in one house and 3 families in a different house, now we're going to get together at one location, so now we have more people to defend ourselves.
Right,
But the point is that if you have a standard operation procedure where you have that write down, and people know what to do, and we constantly update it, and constantly have places to meeting up, people have a place to look and know what to do, versus like, oh, you remember what that guy said about this, you know what I'm saying,
right,
kind of
right.
thing.
Well, and okay, just the word standard brought up another point. Having a standard. You know, Jarhead 6 and I both. We'll preach on the for prepping for handguns, 9 millimeter, 9 millimeter, 9 millimeter. Um, you know, I am on the route between Jarhead 6 and part of his prepping group. So he knows that on his way down to some of his prepping group, he has a pit stop where there's 9 millimeter available. There's a friendly group that has 9 millimeter available because we are on the same standard.
Mm-hmm.
We have the same weapon. Are you going to go AR, AK? Even in terms of food, who's going to have what? Having the overall plan is so very important.
Yeah, no, you're absolutely right, man, and that's why I keep pimping the Glock 17 and Glock 19 in the house, and I may go like I bought that MMP, I got that MMP 45, and I got the car and this and that, but those are guns that I have because I enjoy weapons, I enjoy
Exactly.
shooting guns, and I just like it. This is just, but that's not my go to war stuff. You know, if something
Exactly.
happened. Like like every time I go out of state, I bring my Glock. It's coming with
Right.
me. You
Right.
know, it's not gonna stay home. But yeah, excellent point. I mean, you may be moving from point A to point B. You're gonna have to make a stop, and now you know this prepper group has 40 versus 9
Right.
mil, and you're
Exactly.
gonna have an issue. And it goes back. The military is excellent when it comes to this, like setting up trucks the right way, setting up your gear the right way, and the same way. You know, if I get shot and you go towards me and you want to use my first aid kit and you don't
You
know
know
what my
where it
first
is.
aid kit is, we're gonna have issues. You know, you got to know
Right.
that. You know, and I'm just shooting from the hip, but you got to know that my first aid kit is on my right side, on whatever location, maybe on my left side, depending on my if I'm right-handed or left-handed.
Right.
But you want to have that standard uh, um, issues. Yeah, that's definitely, man. That's good stuff. I definitely I definitely agree. Great point, though. I didn't even thought about that until you said it. Very good point. And again, people, that's what we're talking about. Even me, you know, being into going into Iraq and Afghanistan combat and preparing for combat, I haven't done it in so long that I start forgetting things. So it's always good to refresh, you know, talking to people and saying, yeah, man, definitely, that's some things that I did, and it's coming back to
Right.
me. That's why training is so important because you will forget. That muscle memory is going to go away. You need to constantly do it to have it right there in your brain housing group, and
Right.
constantly be thinking about it. You know what I'm saying? So, um, all right. So prepper group, I think we brought up some good points. Um, any staff that you think we're coming up to like 40 minutes? So any man, it goes fast.
It
Any
goes fast.
yeah. I mean, we're gonna talk about it for hours. People won't watch it, but some people
Yeah.
will. But anything else that you think? Definitely, this is part one. We could talk about it in the future again. But um, any other stuff that you think out there before we close it out?
No, I think really, to me, the most important point is going to be sure that you have like-minded people that not only do you share the same belief system, but that you have the same goals in mind. You don't want to align yourself with someone who thinks that they're going to be the new king come the end of the world. You don't want to be in that group. You want to be with like-minded people who are just going to do the best for the group.
Yeah, that's an excellent point. I couldn't agree anymore. All right, so with that being said, Alabama Owens, anything going on in your channel? Anything coming up? We saw the video you put out with your cool concealed carry. That was pretty
Yeah,
funny.
I've got a new concealed carry piece. It's a little large, a little hard to pack, but uh, I am getting back active into the YouTube community. I'm going to be shooting for every Tuesday and Thursday. Probably be participating in some live chats, doing some stuff on my channel. Other than that, so be sure and stay tuned. I've got some really great stuff coming up. I've got a torture test that I've got to work on the footage on for the new Phoenix 2 from Polymer80.com. And if you think I was hard on the first one, I was way harder on this one. So be sure and check that out. When I get that one through production, that's going to be a good video. And I just want to say, Jarhead6, as always, I appreciate the opportunity. I always love hanging out with you, man, and appreciate the opportunity to be on the channel.
No, that's awesome, man. We go way back, so it's always good to have you here. So we go way back to like 30 subs when
Yeah,
we
exactly.
when, when we used to get like 10 views per video, and like
Right.
eight were like family members, and the other ones were me and you watching our own videos.
Exactly.
All right, so people, we're not experts. That's the bottom line. We're not experts. This is just for you guys to start thinking about some things. And, start lighting up that spark in your brain. Maybe I need to fix this. Maybe I need to do that. Maybe I need to work on this. If you got any comments putting down, definitely start thinking. I don't I don't think you should find people in some website. I don't think
No,
it's gonna be a good
no,
idea.
don't do that.
Yeah, I think you need people that people that is gonna help you out, people that you're gonna depend your life on them, because it may get down to that point. So if you don't trust your life on a specific individual, it may not be a good idea. Now there may be a situation that you got to do it, but if you prepare, if you start prepping the right way, you may mitigate the fact that you're gonna find yourself in that situation. Definitely appreciate you guys watching. As always, if you like this type of videos, click like. Continue to be subscribed to this channel. Continue to be sharing the videos. I really, really appreciate it. We got a bunch of new subs in the last month. It is just awesome, coming up to 5,000 subs, and it's just unbelievable, to tell you the truth. It just blows my mind. So, as always, appreciate you guys watching, guys, and God is in control.